Fuzz thought that getting this already primed car prepped and ready to rebuild seemed too good to be true, and it looks like he might be right.
I never like seeing bits of trim covering structural joints, and here we have a screwed together sill section. Up there there's expanding foam, probably put in there to try and keep out the moisture.
Finding pot rivets along what should be one of the strongest sections of the car sets off alarm bells.
All of this box section along here should be welded and strong. It should be part of the structure.
Fuzz has found that the rivets aren't reinforcing a weld, they've been used instead of one.
If this car is involved in an accident, this will just split apart. There's no integrity to it whatsoever. This car's a death trap.
The Flavia is built with a monocoque body. Like an egg, its strength comes from the structure of its one-piece shell. But this egg's been cracked. Now Fuzz has to fix it.
I've got to get rid of the expanding foam from out of the sill. If I don't, as soon as we start welding, it's going to go up like a torch. So what I've done is welded bars across the door apertures just to make sure that everything is kept braced and in the correct position. When we start chopping into these sills, we could take all of the strength out of the structure of the car and it could flop around like a little rag doll.
That turns out to be a wise move, as what should be solid welded parts are peeling away like banana skins. At some point in its history, this car has been botched. Badly.
This outer section of the floor is completely rotten along the edge.
Fuzz is shocked at just how bad Derek's car is turning out to be.
Come on.
It looks like both the lads are really going to have their work cut out. Turns out there's now so much of Derek's car needs replacing that Fuzz is having to use donor parts.
This is a job that's not going to end. We've tacked on a sill here. We've had to use the sills from an MGB. So that's kind of a good get-out-of-jail-free card, if you see what I mean.
The sills are fixed, but there's more nasty surprises.
It's fatigued.
Getting a replacement for this fractured suspension mount won't be a problem, but Fuzz is finding this car is like an onion. The more layers he pulls off, the more it makes him want to cry.
Got a small problem with the gearbox. We can't appear to select a ratio with the gear stick.
So while the rest of the workshop gets on with tackling the bodywork, Fuzz and Workshop Phil get to grips with the gearbox.
There we are. So what do you reckon we'll find when we get in here? Do you think it'll just be a selector problem, or do you think it'll go deeper than that, more serious?
I think it's Christmas cracker, to be quite honest with you.
Is that right?
Yes.
We may well be able to rebuild it, but these aren't going to be ten a penny, and finding spares for it, it's going to be problematic, isn't it?
Luckily, resurrecting 60s parts is Fuzzy's speciality.
The selector will move across the rails, but I can't actually get it into any gears.
A stuck bolt seems to be the root of the problem.
Now, this is absolutely seized solid. The idea is to heat this up to an orange glowing colour, which should mean that there'll be sufficient heat in order for me to free this bolt off. This is known as the hot spanner, and it helps to loosen tight bolts. Right, here we go. Movement. First, second, third, fourth. Reverse. 4 forward gears, 1 reverse. That's all there are in the box, and we've got the lot. Job done.
Now all they need is an engine to attach that gearbox to, and they'd really be getting somewhere.